Good day to everybody out there to see thy wealth, water your health, drink a glass of water. And how many of y'all buy these in the States? Y'all know these cost $7 in the States. Look at that, beautiful. They call it Mother Nature's breast milk. $7 for one of these in the States. Guess something? I saved $7. $14 right here I done saved. Off of my tree. Off of my tree. This is why I don't need a job. This is why I don't need a side hustle. This is why I don't need a 9-to-5. This is why I don't need an outside third party to provide me with anything, because I took it upon myself to provide myself with the necessities of life, which is what? Food, clothing, and shelter. This is a part of your food. These coconuts, Mother Nature's breast milk, best form of electrolytes, tons of energy, healthy fats, multiple uses, versatile. Turmeric, we're growing right there. I don't even eat turmeric. The permaculture guy bought that over here for us, or for me, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Seedling trays. We are growing our own food out here. The more food you produce, the more money you save. The more food you produce, the more money you save. That is your money growing on trees right there. Why aren't you cultivating and producing, growing your green thumb? Why aren't you getting a piece of land for $3,500 in Florida or whatever, wherever? Why aren't you going to the tax deed auction? Why aren't you creating a life that's sustainable without any outside influences? Because if they stop your job with AI coming everywhere and robots taking over, what are you going to do to keep yourself afloat? What are you going to do? How are you going to make money? How? Because last time I checked, bills are still going to be due. But if you're living off grid and you don't have any bills and you're growing your own food and you're saving $7 a coconut for something that you would have paid in the States, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about any outside influences. You don't have to worry about none of that stuff. Actually, you know, food shortages. And if they cut off the food supply, that's pretty much starting a war. And how prepared you are and what are you going to do about it if the food is cut off? If you can see right now, and I'm sitting in my living room and you can hear, or probably see in the background, there's a lot of rain going on, which is a really good thing because my garden gets to eat, as well as a bunch of my fruit trees, as well as a lot of the society out here. We depend on water. Water is one of the main, our bodies are mostly made up of water. So it's a necessity out here, of course. And we are getting that food to our garden. The topic is, if they cut off the food supply, they're pretty much starting a war. And you say, who is they? They is the trucking industry, the airlines, the trains, automobiles, trucks. If those lines of communication are cut off, what are you going to do for food? Because a lot of our food is imported. Not only is a lot of our food imported, but a lot of our food is also being sprayed with pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, and all kinds of things that are trying to keep insects and pests away, which are killing the insects and pests. We don't really question how that is having an effect and toll on our body and what that does to our body. So we already have a war going on silently that we're not dealing with, which is the contamination of our food, whether it's the animals, the livestock, or the vegetation. The animals and the livestock with the steroids and everything else that they're putting in their food. The vegetation with the herbicides, insecticides, and pesticides that I was just speaking about. So we already have a silent war going on this side. Now over here, with the trucks, planes, trains, automobiles, and any other forms of transportation, if that side is cut off, it's over. It's over. For everybody that doesn't have a garden, for everybody that's connected to the grid that wants to continue to keep dealing with the grocery stores and not your local farmers, for everybody that doesn't have any seeds. Seeds are really underrated right now. And if I were you, I would be trying to stack up on as many seeds as I possibly could, just like they were beans or canned food. They always say go get you some canned food in a hard time because beans are hard and they never go, you soak them to boil them. Canned foods, because everything seems to have a shelf, but they never tell you to preserve and save and stock up on seeds. And I keep saying they, the media, radio, movies. They tell you indirectly through certain things that are going on in the movies, damn, if this happens, what do I do? So they don't come out and blatantly tell you directly, this is what you should do. They make you think, which is okay if you're a thinking person, but if you're not, you just don't. A lot of us don't have time to think. We have to think about waking up in the rising, getting to our job, making sure our boss is happy so we can get our check on time on Friday or every other week so we can take care of our family. So we don't even really have time to think about these things. The time that we think about these things are when we see a movie and it's a quick thought, or when it's at the last minute and it's too late at that time. You see how long it's taken me to grow this food out here? I failed on the first garden, which I don't call it a failure. We call it a lesson learned on what not to do. You see how long it's taken this garden to grow? The okra still hasn't fruited, and I planted that okra in May. I planted that okra in May, and it still hasn't, the fruit is just now starting to come out, but it takes time. So that's why I'm kind of in a rush to set up the infrastructure here so we can get the main garden going, the larger garden. So I don't have to worry about, now looking at the tariffs in the United States, I think they're imposing at least a 10% import tax from here to the United States. I don't have to import anything from here to the US. But for any small business or any business that's trying to continue to do business in the US, I believe with the new executive order, they are imposing a 10% tariff tax, duty tax, unfortunately. For me, if I was to start a small business to import product to the US, but I'm not. But anyone else, that's a problem that's going on. The point that I'm trying to get across here is we should be stacking up on taking care of our gardens, our lawns, so we can put out edible fruits and vegetables in the front yard, in the backyard, on the side of the house, in a cup, in a jar, get you some soil, plant you some seeds, and get you some things growing. Because there's nothing like being able to eat every day. And when you can't eat, it causes a whole bunch of other things. I've done fasting. A lot of y'all can't go 4 or 5 hours without eating, without being irritated. That's not how the United States is going to collapse when there's no food available. I'm telling you from fasting, the irritation, the anxiousness, the frustration, being short with people, and just sometimes wanting to explode, because really it's an addiction. And the moment that we can't go without the thing that we are addicted to, we understand and we see what that causes in addicts, in us when we don't have our food or our morning fix of coffee. So stock up on some seeds. I was doing a challenge, not even a challenge. I was offering one of my subscribers, or people that have subscribed to my channel, the opportunity to win $50 just so you can go buy some seeds. No one participated in that challenge the way I wanted them to. It was to comment on my last 3 videos, like my last 3 videos, share the actual video on your Facebook page, and let me know that you did all of that. No one did that. No, I guess everyone is so rich out here where $50 just don't mean anything anymore. Or y'all thought that I was bull crapping and I wasn't gonna send the 50. I don't know, either y'all got that money where y'all don't need 50 no more, or the other. And I'm gonna say, we ain't built like that for to be turning down $50. I'm not. I'm gonna get 50 if I can win it. So, I say secure your future by securing some land, securing some seeds. And when I say secure some land, I say pay for the land cash, no mortgages, unless it's just your only option and that you can make those payments every month. But I'm not a fan of having mortgages unless I'm the one extending them. If I'm the one extending you a promissory note, I don't have a problem doing that. But I'm not signing on to pay anybody back interest rate, even if it's no interest. Well, if it's no interest, maybe we could talk about that, but definitely not an interest rate attached to it. I'm not in that game anymore. I'm not a part of that. You know how valuable seeds are, how valuable plants are coming out of the soil? And it's like we want to bypass the source and go straight to the middleman, the grocery store. And a lot of these middlemen, grocery stores, really, they're not even buying this product directly from the farmer. So we are getting a product that's stepped on 2 or 3, 4 times with a markup 2, 3, 4 times. Get out of my pocket. I'm going to get some seeds so I can plant my own. I'm going to go buy some land that already has some production on it so I can produce and cultivate my own. Seed, produce, vegetable, fruit production, is just as valuable as stocks, bonds, CDs, mutual funds, crypto. It's just as important, and if not valuable, because you can sell and barter those things, food, for all of that stuff that I just mentioned. Maybe not stocks. You got to go through these, but all that other stuff, gold and silver, you can exchange food for that. Bullets, guns, wood, animals, chickens, you can exchange food for these other products. So when you cut off our food supply, you are basically starting a war. And a lot of us will be defenseless when that war starts. We don't have no ammunition, no defense mechanisms, no barracks, nothing. We are out here with no defense when they shut off the food supply. And when I say they, I'm talking about you, because at this point, you are cutting off your food supply. If anything gets cut off, because you have the knowledge to go out and go to Home Depot, Lowe's, your local nursery, stock up on some seeds, because you never know what you're gonna need or when you're gonna need. So it's not them leaving you defenseless if they cut off the food supply. You are leaving yourself defenseless, because right now that you're ill prepared and you don't have it. It's Sunday. Go get you some seeds. Start the plant and stop procrastinating. And with that, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. This is See Thy Wealth, Water Your Health. As you can see, the earth is watering my plants. Your body is mostly made up of water. Eat some high water content foods and water your health. With that, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Peace.